Hi guys and girls, this is a information video mainly targeted towards the 1GD-FTV, the 2.8 litre diesel owners, or people that are looking to become owners or looking for a reason not to become owners. And it's basically a description of the number one problem, the number one thing I don't like about the new Prado or a new Prado, or to do with this engine and transmission combination, and that is the transmission software. For example, we're on a motorway now. We've got the cruise control set on 104 because that's around about the 100 kilometre actual speed. Conditions are perfect to do so. Road surface is good, dry, clear conditions. There's no reason not to do the speed limit. So we're going to do that and try and describe to you. Right now we're on flat ground, and it's currently, we've got the torque converter unlocked in 6th gear and slipping because we went up that slight incline back there. It flattened out and it still didn't change back up to 6th. We've got another slight incline here, and I'm talking ever so slight. And right now we're still sitting with the torque converter unlocked and slipping, and that's what makes heat in your torque converter in the transmission. Now, I'll let you know when it locks again. It's currently sitting just over 2,000 RPM. We're on a slight downhill now. This is slightly downhill, and it's still in 6th gear with the torque converter unlocked, slipping at about 2,050 revs. It's dropped down 18, 17, 6. It's about, okay, it's down to 1,600 RPM now. So this is going to help you understand a bit about how the transmission and the torque converter works. So the first thing I like to point out, while we're cruising along now in 6th gear with the torque converter locked at 100 or let's call it 104 for the video, but I just want to let you know that I'm not speeding. No, 104 in this vehicle is about 100 or maybe 100.5, somewhere around there. I'll get my half a K's money's worth because I can. Right, so 1,600 revs with standard size tyres. This vehicle is nice and light. It's a GX. It's got minimal modifications on it. So if there's any vehicle that is going to do it, it's this one. There's no bull bar. There's no, there's no extra weight from the GXL, not GLX. Some people, you see them writing their posts and I've got a GLX. It's not a Mitsubishi. It's a Toyota GXL. It's a GXL. Anyway, all good. A lot of people make that mistake. So here we are, flat ground again. We're coming to a slight incline. I'll say this is a little bit more than slight. I'll let you know how soon that torque converter, it's already unlocked, right? So already it's unlocked. We're up on 2,300, around the 20, yeah, about 2,300 RPM, slipping away. The engine has only been running for about 20 minutes. We've been mainly in under 20, under 60, 70, 80 zones where it's easier to maintain that torque converter lock. And the transmission temp is around about 70 degrees, but the road's flattened off now. The torque converter is still slipping. It's still sitting on about 2050 RPM. I could have brought that up on, I've got another gauge here where I can read that information, but I'm just reading it off the tacho with a needle. We're quite a consistent speed, not like the bloke in the 80 series up and down. I don't think he knows what he's doing, but anyway, easier to notice these things when you've got a clear road and you've got your speed set. Happy days. Okay, so basically we're still slipping the torque converter. We've got a cool day here, outside air temperature 15 degrees, okay, no sun, so there's no heat. We've got full airflow. The radiator and the cooling system hasn't been messed with at all, and we're up to 74 degrees on the ATF, so it's gone up 4 degrees. Well, it was actually in the 60s when I started the video, right? So at least 5 degrees. Okay, we've just got torque converter lock in 6 right now, okay, which was a slight downhill. So the problem you've got is it's all in the software, guys, and some people say, well, it's good, lucky you can, remap that, but you shouldn't have to remap it. You shouldn't have to get a torque converter lock kit, which is modifying your new vehicle with, with aftermarket upgrades and stuff, doing these modifications that may mess with your warranty on transmission's an expensive component. You don't want to go messing around with it. You shouldn't have to spend money and add aftermarket garbage to get your transmission to work what I believe, what I'll call right. Others may disagree. Toyota may disagree and say that's working right. Well, not in my opinion, because it makes a lot of heat. So just for the record, The transmission temp's currently on 75 degrees. We're travelling in Melbourne on the Metropolitan Ring Road. It's early on a Sunday morning, so not many cars around. Basically, it's fairly flat. It's a little bit undulating, like here. It goes slightly downhill. I don't know why this guy's got his brakes on here, so we'll plan ahead and just move around, road work ahead, 80, you know, okay, so maybe that's what it's all about. Of course, we're all slowing down, but I just let the vehicle slow down. So this isn't going to be, this is going to mess with our test, okay? This is going to mess with it because we can't maintain the 100 speed. But I'll just go into explaining a little bit more about what I was saying, because there's demonstrating and giving you the information, but it's all mainly, I mean, if you look, you may know where I am and know what the hills and undulations are or are not like, so that you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? So, but the whole point is, if you're driving at slower speeds around the, you know, what will we say, 60, 70, 80, and you're light on the accelerator, you get torque converter lock pretty easy, and you can get torque converter lock in 4th, 5th and 6th, okay? In 4th it works really well, and what I didn't get to demonstrate, and I will after this little roadwork zone, is the fact that, again, just trying to work out if I knew what speed other people were going to travel at. Yeah, so basically, once you get up to a little bit higher speed, let's use the 100 as an example, right? You've got more wind resistance. When you've got wind resistance, it takes a little bit more horsepower to maintain that speed, okay? Because the vehicle's pushing through the wind like a brick. Now, it doesn't take a lot, and when you've got a slight incline like this, I believe that the engine should have plenty of torque. If it's got, what do they say, 450 Newton meters, that's quite a bit to push along a 2,400 kilo vehicle with minimal modifications on 40 psi in the tyres, right? There should be no reason on a slight incline that the torque converter need to unlock. Now, if it should unlock, in my opinion, because it's a 6-speed, there's so many gears there, there's a bit too much going on. So 4th gear at 100, it revs too much, okay? To be clear, 4th gear revs too much. 5th gear would be nice, but it's almost impossible to get torque converter lock in 5th gear. You kind of have to baby it. You have to drive the vehicle. It's worse than driving a manual. So you have to manually select 4th, get lock, then you have to put it into 5th. Holding it in 5th, you actually have to back your foot off, because in that sport mode, right, the transmission shifts are a little bit more sensitive and more likely to stay in a lower gear and torque converter unlocked, right? It's like a different mode. So you sort of have to back your foot off or wait for it downhill and manually leave it in 5th, and you just have to be ever so gentle with your right foot that you don't unlock that torque converter again, you know what I mean? Like, because it really, even in 5th, having that higher revs, you know, the next gear lower, I would suggest is a better gearing for Australian conditions, you know, 100 k's an hour type thing. Okay, so we've got 100, so let's get that cruise control set again. Right, I'm just going to take care of that first. Okay, so we're on, okay, so what we'll do as well, the other thing I'll tell you, we've got the cruise control set on 104, which is 100, we said that, we've been past speed cameras and whatever like that. So a genuine 100 k's an hour in 4th gear, you're pulling 2,700 RPM. Not bad, but not ideal either, right? Not great. So let's go into 5th gear. We've got 5th gear, we got on a downhill, right? So we're going to get converter lock. I'll just wait for that and I'll confirm the RPM. So 5th gear, converter lock. We're on about 1850 RPM, I believe, right? Now this is the problem you got. While it's flat like this, let's see. We've got a slight incline on this overpass. It's not much at all, but I've done a lot more testing than what we're going to do in this 10-minute video, guys. I'm just about done. So in my opinion, the software on the 6-speed isn't right. Nothing wrong with the transmission, but they may be in time. You don't want to buy one of these vehicles unless you're prepared to do those modifications, spend the extra money until Toyota change. Torque converter unlock, guys, it went up to 2100 RPM. So on that slight incline, so we're going back into drive, because drive will allow the torque converter to lock a bit easier. So we're straight into 6th gear converter lock, 1600 RPM, right? Yep, I'm contemplating whether I change lanes to, you know, we're about 6 car spaces behind the car in front of us. I think we're gaining slowly. You know what, guys, we're done. I'm just trying to point out, because a lot of people ask me, and they're still asking me, oh, you know, how do you like the whatever? Well, here we go. I went to change lanes and he did it at the same time. So the answer is, my biggest dislike is the transmission software. The transmission will be great, just like all the other Toyota Asian transmissions, but the software's not right. What makes the oil hot is the torque converter slipping. The torque converter is slipping a lot. In half an hour trips in the middle of winter, 7-degree nights, we've seen over 100 degrees in half an hour. So it gets hot real quick. The 1KDs with a 5-speed, don't do that. Stick with the last of the best, guys, is my opinion for now. Wait till there's a better engine, a better setup, and if you do go with one of these, be aware. We've got more videos coming your way, so if you haven't already, please subscribe, turn the bell on, more 1GD information coming. Give us a thumbs up if you got something out of that. Thanks, guys. See ya.